Another day, another stupid hashtag, man. Twitter is known for doing these kinds of things, just coming up with the dumbest potential hashtags that are possible. And that's all that this really comes down to. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And today we're going to be talking about hashtag Boycott McDonald's, which is the most serious boycott that has happened in at least 5 decades, according to economic analysts and historians. The 15,000 people who have so far tweeted out hashtag Boycott McDonald's have permanently changed the history books. Children in 25 years will not grow up reading about 9/11 or reading about the multiple economic crashes that have happened this century. They will grow up reading about the perfect heroes on Twitter that boycotted McDonald's. Now you might be asking yourself here, well, Optimus, why are they boycotting McDonald's? What exactly did Ronald himself do with Grimace to get everybody so upset? Well, the answer is pretty simple. You've probably heard about the situation unfolding between Russia and Ukraine. I've made multiple videos talking about it here on the channel. Or you've probably heard about it through the mainstream news because it's been pretty much 24/7 news and everything since it's really unfolded. Well, a lot of Western businesses and banks and whatnot have stopped doing business in Russia as a result of what happened, and also because there's a lot of economic sanctions going on there. The Russian economy has contracted like 40 to 70% since they've invaded Ukraine because of Western sanctions. From like the UK, the United States, the EU, people like this, right? And well, Russia still has McDonald's, and while they also still have like Coca-Cola and other companies and stuff doing business there, there's a lot of companies that are kind of getting caught in the targeting here because of this. So McDonald's has not shut down their restaurants in Russia, and people are upset about that because apparently slinging a quarter pounder with cheese to the Russian civilians is seen as McDonald's somehow supporting Russia and their invasion of Ukraine, which personally I think it's pretty ridiculous to just assume that because a company wants to keep its business running in a country that they're, supportive of what took place or anything like that. Now, if they made some sort of animation where, Ronald McDonald comes on screen and tells everybody like, hey, Russia is actually committing a legitimate operation, that's a little different, but... And so people on Twitter are mad, as they typically are, and this is just, of course, the controversy of the day. They figured out, apparently, that McDonald's was still doing business. Well, it's not even just McDonald's. I feel like I'm kind of leaving some of the context out that I shouldn't be. McDonald's is the main boycott right now, but there's also boycotts. I'm taking my headset off, I'm sorry. But there's also boycotts against companies like Coca-Cola and whatnot for them also still doing business in Russia. And Twitter is claiming that, of course, if everyone comes together and boycotts getting a Big Mac or something after work, that McDonald's is going to make the decision to shut their restaurants down in Russia, and this is going to, I guess, affect what's going on, and it'll be a stark message to Putin and the rest of the Russian oligarchs that have decided to invade Ukraine that, hey, motherfucker, you better back up a little bit. So I don't know where this train of thought has come from. I don't know what logic or what planet these people got this concept from. It's almost like they went to just some random world and just listened to the first thing at hand, like, oh, maybe you should boycott them because this is just not some shit that anyone on Earth would ever fucking think is normal. So I don't know what exactly the end goal of this is. They're, I guess, trying to send a message to Russia. I don't know what message is going to get sent. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think Vladimir Putin cares. Like, think of it this way, right? There's been so many sanctions levied against this country. It's gotten to the point where people in Russia were going to the bank and they were being limited to taking out like $20 because they just don't have an economy that's good enough to handle the needs of the people right now, right? Banks were freezing up. People couldn't even use their credit cards and debit cards to take money out of the ATMs. People have been trying to use like Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever the hell other, massive tech company has their own payment system. And these companies have already, basically shut their operations down in Russia, so people can't use Apple Pay to pay for anything there. But apparently, if McDonald's shut down, that's going to be the end-all be-all of it, and we're going to see Russian troops backing out of Ukraine any minute. Let me explain to you why that is possibly the most moronic thing I've ever heard in my life. First off, do you think people care in Russia right now whether or not fucking McDonald's is open? How many Russians do you think are leaving their house right now like, hey, I'll be back, I'm going to go get us a fucking Happy Meal down at McDonald's? Absolutely not. That is not happening. People right now in Russia are worrying about, hey, do I have any money left in the fucking bank? Is my paycheck gonna clear? How am I gonna feed my family? Then they're not worried about whether or not their family's eating a fucking quarter pounder deluxe meal. They're worried about whether or not they can get bread from the grocery store. You know what I mean? They don't care about fast food. I feel like Americans, and this is coming from an American, I feel like we're so privileged and entitled in our lifestyle some way that we just assume that what would be a horrific event here would just be one in another country, right? Like if McDonald's announced they were suspending operations in the United States, there'd probably be fucking riots in the street, bro. People would be burning down buildings and fucking picketing. They'd be fighting and clashing with police in the streets. People would be dressed up as Ronald McDonald throwing Molotov cocktails at the SWAT teams. In literally any other country of the world where McDonald's is just another option that they have and it's not like a legitimate feeding force for a significant fraction of their country every day, they'd probably just be like, oh, okay, well, McDonald's is shut down for the day. Guess I gotta go home and make some food and walk 6 miles back home or take the public transportation, right? Like, they do not live in the same situations that we live in. They don't fucking DoorDash McDonald's 4 times a week. And even if they did, what does this honestly do? What benefit does this honestly bring, you know? Who we stopping here? You think Putin is gonna, like, I guess someone's gonna fucking come in from his cabinet and be like, Mr. Putin, Ronald McDonald has shut down operations in the nation of Russia, and he's just gonna be like, no, you know, reach into the fucking skies crying. These people they feel way more important than they actually are. Like, the people pulling this shit off and tweeting this as if they're, you know, pulling some legitimate movement up out of their ass hair. These people are just so fucking, like, stuck up themselves, right? Like, it's kind of sad how self-centered these people are, to where they think that the world revolves around them. Like, a country is gonna halt its invasion of another one if they tweet out that I'm boycotting McDonald's, bro. Fuck a chicken McNugget meal, man. So I don't know, man. These people are tweeting this about McDonald's. Coca-Cola is another massive one. I guess Coca-Cola also hasn't shut down their operations in Russia, and people have decided that they're not going to shut down Coca-Cola, or they're going to shut down Coca-Cola, I should say, for lack of better words. And once again, you know, do you think that Putin is the only thing he drinks is Coca-Cola? Like, you know, the little polar bear from the advertisements is going to waddle in and be like, hey, yo, what's up, man? We're shutting down operations. And next thing you know, fucking 200,000 Russian troops are coming home and the war in Ukraine's over with. Like, what do you guys honestly think is going to happen? At this point, I'm pretty sure they don't even give a fuck about Twitter. You know what I'm saying? You really think Putin is out here fucking planning his global dominance structure or whatever off what random Joe Schmo 77 tweeted out on Twitter? Like, come on, guys. There's no way you can be this self-conceited that you think you matter this much. And this is coming from me. Sometimes, dude, people just got to tell you to shut the fuck up and that you're just not as special as you think that you are, right? I know that that's kind of like against everything we've been taught here, but you're not special enough to stop an invasion by boycotting a fast food chain that is really only dominant in the West. Not to say that they don't have locations in the East or whatever, but like, McDonald's is a Western franchise. People who spend money on McDonald's are not the average citizens of Russia, you know what I mean? So with this point here, okay, I want to go ahead and pivot to this. I want to think about some companies that people refuse to boycott, that in all reality, they're much easier to boycott because you're not depending on Russia to actually successfully pull this boycott off. They've done things that make them, I guess, worthy of being boycotted, but yet people won't boycott them because whatever people choose to be performative about is really subjective. So let's talk about the good old folks over at Nestle, okay? The people who are actually the largest foodstuff manufacturers in the world. You know, they make bottled water, they make baby products, they make a lot of the foods and whatnot that you'd see on the shelves at your local store. Even if they don't have the brand name Nestle, there's a significant chance that they own the company directly that's making that product. So Nestle, let's talk about these guys. So back in the day, Nestle invented baby formula, or their form of baby formula and everything, right? And they specifically targeted economically underprivileged countries, aka third world countries, and they targeted poor people and basically, you know, marketed their product to them as, oh, this is way better than the natural breast milk that you can give your baby. They'll grow up stronger and they'll grow up better, and the doctors will even agree that they'll grow up so much better. Keep in mind, this was done in places where people didn't have access to clean water, which is necessary in order to make clean and nutritious baby formula. And because people there had basically no education, they didn't know that they'd have to boil the water to sterilize it, so they were just giving their baby fucking poisoned, toxic water and baby formula. It's worse for babies than actual natural breast milk. And they were giving out free samples to these people, and once they basically got hooked on the product because that's what their baby would eat and everything, they were then forced to spend money on it. And that's not even the end of it. That's just one minor thing, okay? This is like 10% of it, okay? Nestle has openly declared that water is not a human right. Water is not a human right. okay? They do not advocate for universal access to safe drinking water. In fact, Nestle has been known for going to areas that are already water depriving and then taking their local water supplies to bottle water with. Nestle has been repeatedly accused of involving themselves in child labor, child abuse, and the trafficking of children, basically enslaving them to make their products, especially in the cocoa industry for chocolate. They pollute the fuck out of the planet. They've destroyed local economies all over the world. They are a legitimate garbage company. And even though it's hard to avoid their products, these motherfuckers are the number one company in the food industry that deserves to be boycotted. So why don't you see people boycotting them? Because people don't give a fuck. Let's be honest, do you think Americans care? They don't care if some African children are getting fucking kidnapped to make cocoa products and stuff. As long as they get a nice chocolate bar at Walmart out of it, people don't give a shit, right? But all of a sudden now, people are just so outraged and care so much that they're willing to boycott McDonald's, which, by the way, that's not gonna happen, in order to stop the war in Ukraine. Like, come on, guys. Please don't be performative like this. If you really care about the situation going on in Ukraine, there's a couple different things you can do. Number one, Ukraine has openly called foreign civilians to arms. If you want to, you can travel to the border of Ukraine right now. They'll issue you weapons and ammunition and whatnot, and you can fight the Russians yourself. I'm not even making that up. You can look that up. You can literally go and fight in Ukraine right now if you want to. Fighting's not really your style. Personally, I don't really want to go to war for Ukraine either. Then why don't you donate to charity or raise some money or something? In fact, if you're one of these people tweeting out fucking hashtag boycott McDonald's, what's happening in Ukraine is some BS, man. I've been raising money for Ukraine on every single video for like the last week now, including this video right here. You know, if you care and you have a couple spare bucks that you can send to people in need, you can do that right here. The fact of the matter is, there's so many people who are trying to act like they care. They're being performative and shit like this. They're virtue signaling as if they're good people. They care so much that they won't give $8 to McDonald's to get a meal, but then when you ask them to donate 25 cents to charity, they'd fucking scoff in your face. How dare you ask me to donate to charity? Yeah, because that's how people are. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. It's realistically also very pathetic too. So at the end of the day, these stupid boycotts where apparently we're not buying a Big Mac or anything, it's fucking dumb, dude. Like, you're not doing anything to help the situation. You make yourself look stupid. Putin is probably laughing right now, bro. Dude is eating prime rib, you know what I mean? Guys having a 5-course meal while everyday Russians are starving in the fucking streets, and you think he cares if Americans aren't gonna buy McDonald's anymore? Here's a little fun fact for you. Even through all of the economic sanctions, we still buy tens of millions of dollars per day in Russian oil. Regardless, it doesn't matter. We haven't stopped buying oil from the Russians. Do you think that the global oil industry isn't more profitable than McDonald's in the United States? Like, let's get real here, guys. It's performative, and these people don't even know what they're saying. They don't even know what's going on, but they're just trying to pretend that they care. And it's sad, because this is a situation where you really should care. And if you really are gonna step up and do something, then do something. Fucking go fight or donate money or something, but don't act like you boycotting McDonald's is the end-all be-all for the nation of Russia. With that being said, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Just dropped the new merch line. Would really appreciate it if you guys took a look at that. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about McDonald's and signing out.